Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Omar. Welcome to yet another video of my course reflection project. I'm actually making this video in terms of my migration from one database to another. So to give you guys some context, it's every company uses a database to maintain some records of their employees, of sales, of different clients that they work with, etc., depending on industry to industry. Now, when it comes to the staffing industry in specific, mainly the database or the applicant tracking system, ATS, what we call it, is predominantly the most essential part of any organization, any staffing company. What they do with this is they maintain records of every candidate, every email sent to the candidate. For example, if there's a email integration with Microsoft or Google, if in case any note is written, or there are different databases that do different things. The one that we had used was Exceler. That would you would call the candidate, or you would talk to the candidate, or whatever you would do with a certain profile. Let's just say you would have to record that. You would have to put down your notes and whatever you've written, or whatever conversation transpired, XYZ. This is holistically um, what we do now in terms of the candidate giving a call, or whatever communication transpired is locked, and um, let's just say it's recorded in the database. Now, I would ideally use something like Bullhorn. It's a software. Um, you would use that, but that would have you do less of the manual work and more of self-recording. So you could it had a Microsoft integration. You could email from the database. Well, most database have it, but then if you call the candidate calls you. Everything is not recorded, but more like transcribed. So instead of you taking notes, they take the notes for you. So say if the candidate calls and goes like, oh, what is the update on my interview application? So the system automatically records it. Goes like, oh, the XYZ person, for example George, had called Omar and asked for an update regarding the interview process, and Omar informed that it's still under review, or the client has put the budget on hold, or XYZ update in terms of whatever the recruiter or the recruitment professional has given the candidate. That's the rough understanding. Now, the database that we had used in specific, or we had been using for a while, I think that this is initially from the time the company started in the 90s. They had been using this database, and they had a lot of candidates from that time. And personally speaking, I really loved that database. I guess more of the fact that I got pretty used to it pretty quickly. I consider myself a fast learner. Precisely the reason why, but I would also say at the same time that the database had its own set of flaws. Um, the new database that we are currently using is CPAL. Now, it's a really good database, and um, a lot of times why it works for us is we have a lot of governmental clients, or we have a lot of clients that use MSPs or VMS. VMS is like a vendor management systems portal. MSPs is where they put up their requirements, and it goes through a chart, or like a portal where a lot of different partnering companies would present their proposals in terms of the candidates that they want to present for the specific opportunity in hand, and then they would accept the candidates from that portal, and everything goes through the portal. So like one of the prominent ones is Knowledge Services, and with state of Georgia, I think it's CAI, and um, I don't think there's one for Texas, but you get the underlying idea. That is what we used to use. Um, when it comes to CPAL, they have a direct integration. So instead of you loading the job manually but from other portals and having to monitor like six different portals at once, this database would allow you to integrate the job. So imagine if you not having to load the jobs, and the jobs getting automatically loaded within the database. I think that was the underlying idea. We successfully managed to do that. The migration, of course, came with its own set of challenges, but essentially, it's safe to say that we have successfully migrated about 300,000 records for candidates in the database. Well, thank you so much, and further updates in the next video. Have a great day.